Hey everyone, today I'm going to go over another simple one that I use quite a bit actually. It's just projection. So just projection to the, in this case, the grid or the 0, 0 plane. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm just going to make some test geometry. So I'm going to do a, what's it called? Use a Houdini icon in this case. And then I'm also going to clean this. I'm just going to get rid of all the attributes. And then transform this to like a certain amount. So let's just put like that. And we'll just say this is our test. So this is a projection basically. So really simply, you can do, there's a flatten node, a flatten SOP now that we can use as well. But I don't like to use this. I always have now used this wrangle. So these are attribute wrangle, and all you need to do, since each attribute, there's a, if we go here, if we look at an eye and we look at the data, we know there's a point attribute. So if we look at that, here's all our point attributes. What we can do is actually set every single point attribute to 0, which is basically what a projection theoretically is. So we're left with this, which is nice, but you can see there's now, it projected everything, including the sides of the top and the bottom and everything else. So what we'd like to do as well is filter out the normals that are bad. As you can see, they're kind of phasing through each other. We can also turn on wireframe. I don't know if the wireframe will show on here. Probably not. Anyways, what we can do now is do a normals. So we add some normals to this. A normal attribute. And when we do that, we get vertices here from -1 to 1. So we want to get rid of all the negative ones. If we turn this on, we can see that there's some that are pointing up and some that are pointing down, etc. So what we can do now is do, do another wrangle. Another attribute wrangle here. And I'll show you guys two methods. So you can use a wrangle or you can use a group node. And actually we'll do the group node first. So do a group node. Plug this into here. And then we can do keep by normals. And then just turn this to 0. And then you're left with points that are grouped. And then you can just do a blast node. Blast group 1. But then you're left with the negative one, so just invert the result by delete not selected. Perfect. So now that's basically the group method. Another method is the wrangle method, where you can group it. So you can do if. First, we have to look at the type. So this is points, and the normals are stored in the vertices. So we need to change this to vertices. So we can say if v, let's be explicit, v at normal dot z is equal to 0 or equal to -1. Then let's put some brackets here. Then we say at group, and then we'll say negative is equal to 1. Okay. Let's see. It should create groups here. If not, then I need to, let me see. Okay, it is creating groups. Let's see how many points. 265. Okay, so it is creating groups. It's not highlighting. So we do a blast node now here. I was wondering if it highlights or not, and sometimes in wrangles it doesn't highlight properly. Delete non-selected, and then click negative. Yeah, so it is grouping. Probably need to do a group promote first. Yeah, so we have to do a group promote here to do a primitive, negative. We should have different groups. Yep, there we go. So everything highlighted here is grouped in the yellow or the orange, Everything not in the orange is not grouped, or not in that group. When we blast it, we get what we want. There we go. So this is the wrangle way. As you can see, this is a little simpler too, as well, just much easier to look. But if you, this methodology is really useful for a lot of other things. So color attributes, you can use a lot of different ways to group based on the specific value. You can use that for groups as well, but I tend to lean towards more wrangle. I just understand it a bit better. But now, yeah, that's pretty much it. You can now transform. So if we do like a merge sop, no, just put the wrangle one in. And the transform node one. So now we can play around with the rotation. You can see it leaves with these kind of rectangles here. So we can do a divide node as well for this, and then remove shared, and then avoid small angles. I think in this one, sometimes this works and sometimes this doesn't. Excuse me. So let's see what this gives again. Okay, so we can just do it on this one. Okay, and then is the normal still here? Let's try delete attribute. In this case, we want to get rid of the vertex normals. There we go. You can also do something called dissolve flat edges. This is another really neat node that I like to use. So as you can see, and then you just play around with this threshold here. Forget which one. There's some overlap intersections, so it's probably not going to be absolutely perfect, but it's enough to get it generally pretty good. So you can play around with this rotation. There's some self-intersections here, but I think it should be fine. It's just a demonstration anyways. Sometimes this works, and sometimes it doesn't, which is all good. So anyways, this is pretty much how I would flatten an object. And it's kind of nice because you can have you can treat these as like let's say a shadow. But there's a lot of cool things you can do with just projections in general. So I use this one quite a bit actually. Just this wrangle of grouping the normals and then using those normals as a way of isolating the geometry. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching.